Today's video is going to be on something that I'm extremely passionate about personally as a pattern designer, and I feel like a lot of you guys in the fiber arts community are probably seeing this problem rising more and more frequently in your feed and just in the overall discourse and discussion of the fiber art community. I'm Jessie of Crochet by Jessie, and welcome to today's video. In this current day and age, we are seeing a lot more of AI in any and every aspect of life. And I feel like the worst place that we are finding AI creeping into is the fiber art community. It's especially upsetting because everything that we do is promoting slow fashion and all the extra work and effort put into things and making things by hand. So when AI starts to jump into this community, it's extremely upsetting and can be quite damaging for a lot of different reasons. I wanted to talk about today's topic, which is pattern designers using AI photos, for quite a while now. I first saw a post about this, I want to say a couple of months ago when I was going through Threads, which, by the way, is very underrated. I kind of love Threads at the moment, especially the crochet section of it. And I found this really interesting post, which I honestly found very, very crazy at the time to see. And it was from another crochet pattern designer. I do want to disclose as well, right as we're getting into the video, that I am not going to be calling anyone out, doing a witch hunt, doing any specific examples. I just want to talk about the matter itself and why it can be problematic. So if there are any designers out there who have been doing this, just to show them why they shouldn't anymore. So basically, this individual had posted basically saying that they were extremely upset that they hadn't been getting any pattern sales for a pattern that they had released and how frustrated they were regarding this. And I was a little bit curious. I always like having a nose when it comes to crochet related posts. So I had a look at all of the comments, and then a very interesting discussion started to arise from this. A lot of the people were commenting and saying that unfortunately, with your photo that you are advertising, it's very clearly an AI version of your pattern. And because of that, it's extremely off-putting, because if your photo that you're using to show your pattern is AI, then 9 times out of 10, the pattern itself is very likely to be generated by AI as well. I understand wanting your final photos to look extremely polished, but there is a way to do it. And I think what makes crochet and fiber art human is the slight imperfections that you may see in a photo or just in general, because patterns are not going to be absolutely perfect. There's not going to be a tiny bit of fluff that's like part of the do you know what I mean? Photos are going to be human because crochet and fiber art is innately a very human and hands-on project and hands-on community. So to see a photo where it is so extremely polished that you can just tell that this was not made by human hands, it's an immediate red flag to anyone wanting to work on that pattern. And I feel like this has been a problem which has been arising so much in the community. The amount of photos that I have seen where people are advertising patterns and it is so clearly AI, it's really baffling, to be honest, because don't get me wrong, the photo looks cute, but it doesn't look realistic, and it's not something that a buyer is wanting to see when they are looking at a pattern, because like I said, you're not going to think it's a genuine pattern when that's the case. I think it's very interesting seeing how different people perceive the use of AI when it comes to this community. I have also seen some very, very large kind of fiber art companies that have been posting using AI, and very blatant AI, I will say. You just need to look into the comments and the amount of fiber artists in the community that are just saying this is not okay. There was a extremely large brand / company that did this recently, and they did this several times, so much so that the community actually had quite a lot of uproar until those posts did get taken down. I just think that companies such as that are the people that need to kind of confirm what is and what isn't okay in the larger fiber art community. So if large brands and companies are making posts like that, a lot of other creators are probably going to think it's okay and that they can do it and get away with it as well, which is just sending out the opposite message that should be sent out in this community. And from the perspective of someone that designs patterns as well, I find it really sad that people create designs and they aren't happy enough with their own final piece and their final photos that they feel the need to change it in that manner. I've seen comments relating to this that have actually said, if you're not happy with the final photos of your piece, then clearly the pattern doesn't fully work and you don't get that desired final look if you feel the need to take a photo and generate it with AI and kind of alter it and amend it to make it look maybe how you want the pattern to look. So it's a very grey area with the kind of like the thought process behind it. I can understand wanting your work to look more professional, but if it isn't looking like that in real life, then it can be extremely misleading to show AI photos of a design which isn't really an accurate representation of the design. A few tips on how to see if a photo is AI that is being used to show a pattern. Normally it just looks too good to be true. The stitches are too clean, too uniform. When you really zoom into it, it doesn't look very clear of where the stitches are going into, where they're coming from. And a lot of the time when you really zoom into it, it just does not look like crochet either. I think it's really important to be vigilant, and when you are looking to purchase a pattern, really look to make sure that the pattern does look genuine. And yes, it is unfortunate because people who are making a real pattern but then choosing to use images that are generated by AI like this, they're unfortunately making themselves not really seem like a genuine designer out there for anyone having a look at these specific listings. So yes, maybe the pattern is genuine, but I feel like it's not worth risking it if it does look like AI is being used to showcase the pattern out there to the world. It is a very, very sore spot, I think, for most creators and especially designers to see work like that out there, but also people complaining that they're not making sales whilst they are doing practices like this, because it's a very hard one. I think it's crazy that it is becoming more of a practice thing in today's society. I feel like a couple years ago, you would not have had to worry about this anywhere near as much, whereas now you've got people actively really having to be careful depending on what platform they're on. I really like the fact that Ribblr checks for their patterns to make sure that nothing is AI generated. I think that that is absolutely amazing. But obviously not every place is going to have this. I believe that Etsy, unfortunately, there are a lot of cases of AI photos being used. And I don't know if they really have a kind of process or protocol to be able to assess these listings. It kind of makes sense, although it's not great because of just probably how many listings are on Etsy. But I think it's really amazing that Ribblr have taken that extra step just to make sure that the pattern buyers are more protected against situations like this. I am extremely curious as to if you guys have ever seen this yourself firsthand. Have you ever seen a pattern listing using an AI photo that looks very AI generated overall, or maybe one with an AI photo that the pattern actually ended up being genuine itself? And if so, how often have you come across this as well? And is this becoming more frequent as AI is just getting more and more prevalent in society? This was a slightly heavier-esque topic than I normally do, but I felt like it was very important to just point out that this is not a great thing to be seeing in the fiber arts community. And to any person who is a designer who is doing this or has thought about doing this, it is not worth it. You are only putting up red flags next to yourself and discrediting your work if you are putting so much time and effort into it. People want to see human work and human projects and, yeah, realistic photos that show that a person made this, and it doesn't have to be absolutely uniformly perfect because nothing really is. That's kind of the joy of it being made by handmade. Obviously you want to take pride in your work and have it to a certain standard if you plan to sell it. That's of course the case. But do not feel the need to use AI because you're really discrediting yourself, and it's not great practice if it's something that we're more frequently seeing, because AI really does not have a place in communities such as this. It should not even be here, but unfortunately it's just slowly making its way into it. There are certain categories, sectors, communities where AI can honestly be great depending on what it's being used for, but I really don't like that it's now getting a place in the fiber art community because it really doesn't feel right. It feels very icky, and it's very sad that this is now the case for the community. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you haven't already, please consider liking and pressing the subscribe button as well as the bell to be notified when my next video is up. I promise not every video is as heavy as this one. Typically I have more lighter nature content as well as yarn hauls, tutorials, whatever I can actually do, I will try and do with my content. With all of that being said, I will see you in my next video. Bye.